When I first started with Reading Muskegon, it was in November, and I was at a 3rd grade reading level. And I just stuck with Miss Sarah through it all, and we ended up accomplishing a lot in our success. And I'm proud to say that I'm at a 6th grade reading level right now.
When parents don't read well, their kids start kindergarten way behind their friends.
61% of kids whose parents don't read well have no books at home. Can you imagine no books?
36 million adults in the U.S. need help learning to read better.
Only 3 million of them will be lucky enough to get it.
We asked Mike to share his story and tell you how Read Muskegon changed his life.
I was in special education from the age of 7, and I actually went through special education through Nelson, Angel, NIMS. Then from NIMS I ended back to Angel School. Then I ended up at Steele. Steele transferred me to Bunker. Bunker transferred me to South Shores. South Shores transferred me to Preble. Preble was the last school I went to. Some tricks and strategy I used to get through by fooling people that I couldn't read or write. What I would do was have them do it for me by tricking them. Like, I would say, this is funny, and read this to me. And they would read it out loud, and it was so I could understand what was on the piece of paper, so I didn't have to read it to myself, and they would know they were reading it to me. I love Reading Muskegon. It's fun. Miss Sarah's a blast, and she teaches a lot of different things in the class that you would use out in the real world. It's just not a lot of book work. It's more of hands-on that you could use in the real world, and it's very fun. They passed these rules around, and everybody had to read one rule per person. And when it came to me, I usually get the short ones, but I got this big long rule, and I read it with no problem. And I looked at myself like, oh, you can read. You're reading a lot better than you think you're reading. And that's when I realized Read Muskegon had did me a big favor, and I'm thankful. And I do have a favorite book that I read to my kids. It's pretty old. It's the Berenstein Bears. And you know what? It's one of my favorite books when I was young that my mom used to read to me. So now that I read it to my twins, they love it, and they grab the book all the time and wants me to read it before they go to bed. So it's really a great thing to learn how to read and to be able to do something that you couldn't do, especially when it's been so long in time that you've pretended that you could and you couldn't. It's just really helpful that Read Muskegon came along and made this possible.
Nina wants to be a ballerina. Every week she goes to dancing class.
Over 21,000 adults in Muskegon County would struggle to read this sentence.
That means they can't read well enough to do things adults need to do, like pay bills, fill out doctor forms, or even order off a menu. Wow.
And they can't help their kids with homework or read them a bedtime story.
We asked Carl to tell his story, to tell you about how Read Muskegon changed his life.
I first got about Read Muskegon when my daughter was born. I said, I got to learn how to read. When I had older kids, I didn't have the time and the patience with my older kids. But now I have a second chance at life that I can try to make it right between me and my daughter and the Lord to bless us to move together and read strongly. When I couldn't read, was so frustrated. I had to take somebody with me to go find a part for my car, help me pay a water bill, read this to me so I could learn how to pay these bills. But since I met Read Muskegon and been learning how to read with Read Muskegon, I could do that myself. And it feels so good to want to depend on your own instead of other people's. What I like about Read Muskegon classes is fun. You got good peoples. The teachers will wait on you. They got patience, and they funny. I remember the first time I learned how to read without a mistake, without just helping me. I was laughing because I felt good inside because I didn't need no help that time. I read 4 pages without stopping, without asking for questions and everything, and it made me feel real proud. I was about to have heart surgery, and I was kind of scared and nervous. Didn't think I was gonna make it, you know. And so I was telling my teacher, her name is Sarah. I was telling her, talking to her, and tell her that I want to thank her for teaching me how to read. Now I know if I ever pass away, I know that I know how to read, and it made a big difference between me and my daughter. My plan for the future is to try to get a lot of peoples in Read Muskegon, and so everybody can learn how to read. You're never too young, you're never too old to learn how to read.
We need your help so Read Muskegon can help more people like Carl.
There are 3 things you can do.
Volunteer to be a tutor so that we can help more adults become better readers.
If you know an adult who needs help reading, tell them about Read Muskegon.
Make a donation. Every dollar helps to change someone's life.